Let me just put it out there. And I know that he's probably going to get some other shots because of him being appointed by Robert Kraft. But so I have an issue with seeing them struggle because I know what the outcome usually is for Black coaches. And I haven't said this, but that's really the root of why I'm mad. You don't have a chance to be bad. You don't. Steve Wilkes, what was the dude's name in Chicago that DK had?
Let me
say, like, you don't get the chance to be bad. So it's like I need to see the best team possible right away. You don't get the same chance to ever. That's really the root of like why I'm like, yo, you got to put motherfuckers out there that's going to help us win right away. Not in 2026, not in 2027, not in 2028. You got to do it right away because just because it's here doesn't mean he's going to be great in 5 years to get it right, regardless of what's being said in the media. Regardless, I don't trust it until I see it. So that's really, and I haven't said it, but that's really where I'm like, no,
yeah,
you don't get afforded the same shot. You got to come out swinging. That's why I was so happy for him, even though I thought they weren't going to win that much. I was so happy to see them beat Cincinnati. I'm like, yes, like if you could build off this, and then you had the Seattle game. You had it, and then it's like you got to find a way to salvage something. And that's why I was so gun-ho, like, yo, you got to find a way, even if you win 8-9, because if you look 8-9, you're like, okay, they're building something. Then some guys will come. Then it changes to 10-7. It might build up depending how it goes. Like then you get the free agents, and then you get the whatever. Like that's why I was so gun-ho on that. So you don't get the chances, and that once again, people. I want someone to say something stupid in the comments so I could go left. But y'all people that's hearing me and y'all fucking know. Y'all know I'm not wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, I got 2 words for you. And you know how to finish that. But it's like you know that I'm not wrong. And that's really what I'm and it didn't dawn on me to right now, really, but that's really the root of it. I know that coaches that look like Jerod Mayo or DeMarcus Covington or whatever don't get a chance. And the fact that his success is fucking tied to Alex Van Pelt makes me sick. That's really what it is. It's a problem. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with the premise of what you're saying. But what I would say is, when was the last time that a minority coach, right, was signed on to replace the greatest coach of all time a year before the greatest coach of all time was fired? And Bob Kraft, lots of faults, lots of them. He's only hired 3 head coaches in 30 years.
Correct.
Pete Carroll, Belichick, and Jerod Mayo. He doesn't like lots of turnover because that would reflect poorly on his brand.
Right. So
while I understand 1,000% with what you're talking about, I agree with in any other situation, those feelings are 1,000% warranted. I do think here it's a little bit different. Obviously, Kraft thinks so highly of Jerod that, again, Bill Belichick was still here. He was still a coach and a GM, and Robert signed him to a deal that said you're the next guy.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
So that's yes. So that was a story that is true, obviously. So my thing is, if that's the case, if you're saying you're not a guy, you're the guy, and we're investing in you not just for the right now, but for the future. Once again, and you had the space. It's not like you had 10 million in the cap space. You had a good amount of cap space, not just this year, but next year, I think the year after. How do you not say? And once again, they did a good job of bringing guys back that were key contributors. So fine, cool. But how do you not say, hey, you know what? Because I know, or I believe that he's the guy, let me give everything to him right now that puts him in that position for us to get back to where we used to be, or at least a stepping stone to where we used to be. That's really my issue. But once again, you're not telling me that Alex Van Pelt. Once again, I'm happy that guys like DeMarcus Covington got a raise, right? He's been here since 2016. Like that. That's dope. Awesome. But I talked about this with some friends earlier. The only tree that Jerod Mayo knew was here, right? It's not like he went to a Carolina or to like a Green Bay or to a LA Chargers, like you can kind of meet other guys and have them come in. His thing, his tree, his Rolodex, so to speak, was all Patriots guys. So he had to rely on other guys upstairs to bring people in. And I don't know, I just think, to me, it wasn't prioritized the way it could have or maybe should have been. If you're saying he's the guy, because once again, year one of the rebuild or not, I'm not saying that you need to win 13 games, because I was saying that's absurd. But like I said, the 7-10s, the 8-9s, fuck around and go 9-8, right? Like that type of stuff helps you to build. And then once again, when guys like Ramondre give statements like they did a few weeks ago, when they say, "Oh yeah, it was just another game, another loss." What? That like I don't want to hear players say that. I don't.
Right, that's a losing mentality.
Yeah, I can't get with that. That's why I'm like, yo, you got to find a way to win games, or like I said, be in it, right? Because it's a different feeling when you say, man, we were right there. Like we were right there. Like this play, that play there. It was a game of inches, cool. As opposed to shit. So we got off the bus.
Yeah.
Like that motherfucker was over. There's a difference. So it's like it's a fine line. And once again, but like I said, in the NFL in particular, and I'm sorry because I'm going on a rant, but it's like there's too many jobs on the line on a weekly basis to go into something mediocre or half-assed. That's all. And I feel like that's what they did.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I'm with you. And I think, listen, again, I think he's going to be the guy. I think Kraft is committed to him for at least 3 years, at least 3. And here's what
left this year. It was bad. Mm-hmm.
Not to get into like draft and what I want to happen, but here's what I want to happen. I want to have a top 4 pick. I want in free agency them to spend money on the offensive line.
Right.
And then I want them to draft Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
But if you spend on offensive linemen, you don't need to draft one. And
right.
And he can play corner, he can play wide receiver. He's a showstopper.
I mean, listen, him and Gonzo at the corners, and then you put Jones at the slot. Good night. With Duggar and Peppers, hell yeah. Just sign me up. But once again, my backup plan is obviously, 71 from LSU, Will Campbell.
Yeah.
No, but that's so cool. That's fine. It's cool. But I'm with you. And yes, you're not gonna find Trent Williams, but you're seeing what's happening right now. These teams in the offseason, they're paying the linemen that have been there. They're paying these guys. You got to do that. And the thing is, we let Shaq Mason go. We let Joe Thuney go. And Shaq Mason has won since he's left. Granted, I know the teams are different, but still, we run a team. Joe Thuney has won since you've got to sign guys here and bring him. Once again, I'm glad they did right by Michael Manu. They did right by Landry Trent Brown. I hope he gets well. So I know he's out for the season with his ACL injury in Cincinnati. But it's like, damn, like you've got to take care of that position. And they've been negligent, to say the least, in that finding. And everything is not tied to Dante Scarnecchia. Like that was a cool thing to hold on to after a while. But it was like, look, he's been gone for a while. I don't care if you have to get Bill Callahan in here. Do something. Do something that's going to get this line in order. So whether it's through free agency, whether it's you drafting Will Campbell or the kid from Texas, I forget his name. The name is escaping me right now. But I'm here for it. Like you got to figure it out.